Hi there, this is Shrikant Dasari. So in this lesson, we are going to learn how to define two important methods in the object-oriented world. They are get method and set methods. Okay, so the get method, the main purpose of defining a get method inside a class is it is used to return some data when we call that function, and set method it is used to set the parameters or data members of your class. Okay, so first let me launch the IDE. So we know that we are using a Visual C++ Visual Studio Express 2013 for Windows desktop. So already I have created a project under the name class and object 6, which consists nothing but class.cpp file. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just adding the basic stuff like header files. So all the basic stuff, I was stream, okay, and so hash include stdio.h. Sorry, habituated to do this in C programming. So conio.h, and followed by the main. I'm just writing the main. So very basic thing. I'm just adding the main here. And with the mains will consist of return with 0. Prior to that, I'm adding this getCH method to make the output stand still. Okay, so we using namespace std is also very essential since we need to include the namespace standard. Okay, so we have all the basic stuff. If you run this program until now, if you don't have any issues, it just runs smoothly and displays nothing. Since that is a very basic C++ program you can ever have. Okay, it's taking a bit time since my system is very ancient. It displays the console window. So what I'm doing is I'm just expanding the font size here a little bit such that it looks more viewable. Okay, so now I'm defining a class here. I'm taking a class. So here our intention is to learn about how to define a get and set methods such that using the set method you can you can initialize your private data members. Okay, so that set method that set method can also have an argument or a parameter inside it. Okay, so I'm just taking a class person. So okay, so it's a good convention to follow to have the initial letter of your class name as capital. Okay, so it's a good convention to follow. So here just to make it simple, I'm just taking only a single variable in my private data member section here. Okay, so I'm just taking a char. This time I wanted to use a string here, a string name. Okay, so when you're using string, you need to add this header file, which is a string. When you're using a string object in C++, you need to add the string header file here. Okay, so to avoid some later issues in the form of errors here. Okay, so now I have so what we call a single variable in the private data member section, which is a string. So now what I'm doing is I am just defining two methods here. One is set name. Okay, so I'm just calling it set name, and it consists of an argument. So we will pass that argument from the main function when we are calling the member function here. Okay, so void set name and void get name. So get name will return the string, will return this name. Since for that reason we need to avoid the void, and we need to have the actual object name, which is a string, as the return type here. Okay, so return string get name. Okay, since it just returns the name, we need not have any parameters here. Okay, so we have defined two different methods. Just structure where we have defined. We need to write some code inside it. Okay, so this typically consists of something like this. You can use here as some s1 or whatever you wanted, since we have taken the name already as a data member here. So you can say something like this: name is equal to s1. Okay, so what it does is, so whatever the name you pass from your main function when you are calling the member function, so it automatically gets stored inside this our private data member here. Okay, so you are using this methodology to use the set name member function or set method here to excuse me, to initialize your private data members using your member functions here. Okay. So get name should do nothing except to return the name, whatever the name we have stored. So whatever the value the name data member consists here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an object here. So person P1. So P1, since we have taken it as initial capital letter, so we need to use the same syntax. So P1 dot. So first we need to call the get name method. Sorry, set name method. So first we need to set some name. So in this, until now we haven't seen any arguments inside our arguments or parameters. Both are one and the same. We haven't seen any parameters inside our braces here when you are calling the function. So now we are having some arguments. So here I am saying, here I am writing my name, Srikanth Dasari. Okay, let's write my full name, which is Srikanth Dasari. Okay, strange names. Okay, so get ch semicolon here. Okay, so now using your object, I am just calling the get name method also. So okay. So while you are dealing with the get name, directly you can write it in out directly you can project your method directly in this CO using the CO to print the name. Okay, or else it's a good practice to take something like this: string name is equal to p1 dot get name, and then you can CO that thing saying that my name is so and so name. Okay. So whatever you want, you can, whatever convenient way you can do. Okay. So since here in this very small program, our intention, let's write it in a comment here. Get and set methods in C++ OOP. Okay. So inside or get and set methods in a class, since we are in a class here. Okay. So here we have taken a simple class and we have taken a simple data member, just writing it in the form of a comment, data member to store the name of the person. Okay. So if your comments are in detailed detailed description, whoever the outside person, the third member, looks into your code, he gets an idea instantaneously. So what the reason why we have taken that variable at that particular point here. Okay. So the definition of the class person. Definition of the class person. Okay. And we have taken two member functions here. So I'm just writing it in the form of comment here. So member functions defined. You can also define the member functions outside the class. So here we have defined the member functions inside the class under the public section. So whether you write or not, this is a very key factor. You need to define your member functions. The member functions operate on the private data members. So whatever the operations you need to perform on the data members defined inside the class, you need to use a member functions, and that member function should fall into the public section of your class here. Okay. So unless and until if you don't keep the member functions inside the public section, so you're not able to access them outside the class inside your main function here. Okay. So until this point, I'm just running the program by pressing the F5 key. Okay. So if everything goes well, here it is. Okay. So my name is Srikanth Dasari. So that's what we have got as output here. Okay. So what we have done in this program, if you come back to our ID here. So here we have taken defined created an object. Create an object. So for person class. Okay. So using that object, we have call the methods here. Okay. So calling the member functions. So calling the member functions using the object and dot operator. Okay. So here we are calling the member functions the set name and get name. So using this set name method, we are calling the member function. So set name member function, and if you observe here, we have an argument which is being passed from the calling environment here to the class, to the member function defined inside the class here. Okay. So what happens is this. Let's write a comment also. So member function, the member function set name holds an argument to be passed. Okay. So what happens is this argument, this string gets passed from this calling area back to the class definition, or back to the member function definition inside the class, and gets stored in this s1 variable here. Okay. So then what happens is that s1, that string, whatever we have passed from our main function, gets stored in this name variable here. Okay. So the name is a private variable here. And then using the get name method here, we are returning the name. And using the get name method, what we are doing is we are returning the name from our class definition, from our member function definition inside the class to the main method. And so that returned name variable is being caught here inside another name variable which we have defined inside our main function using the string object here. Okay. Using the string type name variable, we are just catching that name and storing in the name variable, and then we are outputting it using the save statement, using the just small message here. Okay. So if you want, you can directly avoid this kind of mechanism, and directly you can say something like this. Okay. So my name is, and you can say something like this directly. So p1 dot get name. Okay. So even though you say directly p1 dot get name, so what happens is whatever the name you return from your get name method is caught here directly. So in stores or returns directly to the calling area, which we have directly embedded inside our cout statement here. Okay. So now if you run the program once again, so you get the same output here. Okay. So there is no difference, even though if you use the previous convention, or let it keep in the previous way. Okay. So let's say name, and so let's take another variable name and just store it in that variable, and then print it out using the cout method here. Okay. So in this way you can make use of this set method and get method, get method, or else you can name whatever the way you wanted to name them here. Okay. So to make it simple, I have just since I am storing the names since I have here our program intention is to set some name in our private data member, which is name here. Okay. So since I have taken name as a variable inside the private section of our class, so that's the reason I have defined two methods, set name and get name. So these are very important things. So whenever you wanted to initialize your private data members, like passing some arguments from your main method when you are calling the member function using an object. So whatever the parameters you pass from the calling area to the definition, member function definition. So in those cases, you need to use these set methods and get methods. The sole purpose of the set method is to set the private data members to some value. So not only strings. So if you want, you can set any kind of data. So you can set any kind of data, and you can return using the get method. You can return any kind of data from your class definition area, to your main method here. So this is the basic stuff about so how to create get and set methods in C++ object-oriented environment. Okay, so see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.